Hey, it's Melissa Wade, and thanks for tuning in to this week's segment of Triangle Empowered. Triangle Empowered, where knowledge is power. Well, today we are talking about the affairs of Black people and how we can deal with it in our local communities. So please help me welcome our guest today, Mr. Frederick X Ravin III. He's the chairman of the Durham Committee of the Affairs of Black People. Mr. Frederick, how you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Wonderful. Thank you so very much for joining us for our Triangle Empowered. We've had so much knowledge from so many people and glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
So,
Great to be here.
as we get started, can you tell us about the Durham Committee on the Affairs of Black People, what you all do and how long you have been around and doing it?
Sure, I love to. And the committee that I actually chair, which is the nonprofit board, which is the Durham Committee on Affairs of Black People Incorporated, we generally call it the Inc. It is a sister organization with the Durham Committee on the Affairs of Black People. The Durham Committee on Affairs of Black People has been around since 1934, fighting for the people within our community. It's well known as a historic civic organization. And the nonprofit itself, which is the Inc., was started in 2014 to better fight the fight and be able to work with a lot of our corporate and public sponsors. And we're allowed to accept nonprofit. Well, we are a nonprofit, so we are allowed to accept gifts and contributions. And that's sometimes it's just work in kind and pro bono services.
Well, it's good. I'm from Durham, so it's good to know that there's another
Yeah.
entity out there, that you all exist and what you're doing. So
Yes.
tell us, what are some of the social justice and racial equality issues that we all are facing in the city of Durham?
Well, that's definitely a loaded question. It's so much to cover. One of the things that we were fortunate to have won was the grant from the Duke Energy Foundation in the amount of $25,000. So that grant has allowed us to really focus in our efforts on racial equity and social justice. As a lot of people know, it is that accounts for a lot. That accounts for housing disparities, employment, over policing. It's a slew of things. So part of what we do is we like to bring attention and bring focus and awareness to that, to really start having those critical conversations on how we can move forward together.
So would you say that these issues are primarily unique to Durham, or are they more widespread?
They are definitely widespread. I think I always have to pay homage to the people that came before us who always kept this on their radar. And we have to be appreciative also of a lot of the leaders within Durham who have been fighting for this and have been fighting to bring this awareness to the forefront. It's just our time now to see what additional support we can give it and how we could continue to highlight it and continue to fight the good fight.
Well, that's good. You all are doing a wonderful job in highlighting it. So how can we as a community kind of come together to address the issues that's happening?
One of the things that we've actually done is we've already started a series of conversations called Courageous Conversations. This really allows everybody to look at their both, their biases, whether it's implicit bias or just not knowing. Most of the time is the easiest way to explain things to people. And we want to be able to open their eyes to things that are currently happening in the community that you just sometimes take for granted. And again, the awareness is the first part. Once you have the awareness and everybody's aware of what actually exists and the disparities, and generally when they look at these disparities within certain groups, it's generally of the white demographic against other non-white demographics. And that's generally where you can see it, but there's variations regardless what group that you're going to. And it's not just by race, by sex, creed, and color. We like to encompass everything and take a broad vantage look at everything. So for people that want to actually work with us and contribute, our website is www.dcabpinc.org. We're also on Facebook. We're on social media in general. So we've been pleasantly surprised with the outreach that we've received thus far.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds great. So your committee is pretty much, since you are based in Durham, it's those people that are watching us in Durham that would be a part of your committee?
That is correct. But we're always open to working with other organizations as well. Because the fact is that this is not specific to Durham. This is
Right.
far reaching. Our goal is to kind of see what we could do within our community. But sometimes the best way to do that is working with other organizations outside of the community.
Well, sounds great. You giving us information, coming together, talking about it, and making, ways of which we can go out and change things or help to change things. You guys are doing a wonderful job getting the information out. One last time, let our viewers know exactly how they can reach you, how they can find out more about it. And like you said, if they want to be a part of it, where they need to go to do that as well.
Sure. It's www.dcabpinc.org. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, all social media. So please reach out to us. We'd love the opportunity to work with you. We're currently partnered with NCCU. So we have about 15 interns we're working with, but we're always looking to bring on more people.
All right, sounds good. He is the chairman of the Durham Committee of the Affairs of Black People, Mr. Frederick X Ravin III. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us and giving us more information about this during our Triangle Empowered. Thank you.
Thank you again.
You're welcome. All right, y'all, that covers a lot today. Some wonderful information. Thank you all so very much for supporting us and joining us for another wonderful Triangle Empowered. Until next time, have a great week.